Hi everyone, and welcome to what I would not call our last lab, but this is just sort of a helpful tool to use if and when you're building your tables. So this is, for today, this is a nice package for making pretty and professional tables. This first command obviously is just clearing things from our global environment. Here I am setting my working directory, right? You'll just make your working directory wherever your data is saved. So session, set working directory, choose directory, right? And you'll navigate to where your data is saved. In my case, I saved it in Lab 10. Because for today, we are going to be using the data that we used for Lab 10, which if you'll recall was Titanic data. Specifically, it's the passenger list, whether the passenger lived or survived, and their class, so whether they were in first class, second class, or third class, their gender, and their age. So all of these commands, lines 7 and 8, are pulled straight from Lab 10, so I'm not going to really go over them again. Oh, I made it mad. I haven't brought in the data. That's why. So we'll run line 5, and you can see over here in the global environment, our data is now there. I'm going to run line 7, which is just how class, sex, and age affect whether the passenger will survive or not. And here is a summary of the table, right? Our results. So here we can see that class has a negative effect on survival. Gender, specifically if you're male, has a negative effect on survival and it's statistically significant. And age also has a negative effect on survival. So as you get older, you are going to be less likely to survive the sinking of the Titanic. And again, that p-value is statistically significant. Now, how do I bring these results into a table? So what I could do is open a new Word document and copy and paste them in, but that doesn't look super professional. So yes, I accepted this kind of thing for homeworks. That's standard and normal, right? I don't expect you to create beautiful tables each time you submit a homework. But for a final paper, I would likely expect something a little more polished. So how do we do that? What's the easiest way to go about that? And I would recommend using the Stargazer package. So line 10 is going to install the Stargazer package. You might be wondering, why is it called the Stargazer package? So Stargazer is referring to these asterisks or stars, right? These usually denote whether a variable is statistically significant. So if there are lots of stars or asterisks next to a variable, we would conclude that that variable has a statistically significant effect on our dependent variable. As usual, I have installed the package, right? All went according to plan. And now I'm going to load the library, Stargazer. And so it gives me a recommendation, please cite as this. But here is the command. The command itself is Stargazer. The command itself is Stargazer. In this case, my model, I named it MyLogit, but say I named it MarkyMod, or maybe I named it SurviveMod. Whatever I named it up here in line 7 is what goes first here. MyLogit. So I named it MyLogit, this model, up on line 7, and so that's what's going to come first. Digits equals 2. That next portion says round the decimal places. Here I said title equals logistic regression. That's just going to be the title that appears at the top of your table. So I could say something like logistic regression, surviving the Titanic, that kind of thing. Or I could say the effect of gender on surviving the Titanic, right? All kinds of different choices, right? I could choose whatever. Type equals HTML, so just keep that the same for now. And then it says out equals table1.doc. Now you may be wondering, what is this here? What's going to happen is this whole command here is going to generate a document called table1.doc, specifically a Word document with a beautiful table in the Word document, sort of all set up and ready for you to put directly in your paper. So I'll do run. Oh, and like all of this text comes up, right? Like where are the results? You have to navigate to where you set your working directory. So you'll recall mine is in lab 10. So I'm going to just go right to lab 10. I'll do teaching, University of Idaho, spring 2019, online, labs, lab 10, and I have a Word document here called table1.doc. I'm going to open it up, and what do we see? Oh my gosh, it's so much better. It's so much better. So I can copy this. I can take this whole thing, Control C, and bring it over into my paper, right? I may sort of fiddle with the dependent variable, or excuse me, the independent variables names. So here we see P class. What will appear in all of these is the name of the like the variable, but we would probably want to name them something more intuitive, like class, gender, right? And here we see it has included the coefficient, the asterisks or stars denote whether it's statistically significant or not. In the parentheses is the standard error. So you'll note that all of this is exactly as it appeared in the table, right, in our results. So here we can see that class had a coefficient of negative 0.1288. It has been rounded to negative 1.29. The standard error was 0.139. It has been rounded to 0.14, right? And it inputs all of this for us. So we can just copy and paste this directly from this document here into our final paper. I hope that this is useful for you guys. It's definitely a really quick and easy way to get really beautiful tables. And if you have any questions, just let me know.